Tech Week, Jesus.
3 words to describe Tech Week.
Exhausting. Atmospheric.
Inspiring.
Tech Week is when we arrive at theatre for the first time from the rehearsal room. So we put all of the elements that we haven't had in rehearsals into practice. So all of the bits of set that move, the different platforms, the different levels, the different things that fly in. A lot of the props, lighting comes in and sound comes in, and the actors are on stage for the first time.
Tech is magic, because you're like, suddenly you've gone from doing this thing that's kind of private, you know, that you get used to doing it with the crew, but it feels a bit like doing it in your bedroom after a bit, and it's nice. Like, that's where it's comfy, but it's not gonna make great art. And then suddenly you get into tech, and there's costumes, and there's lighting, and there's a stage that goes up and down.
The tech process for a play sometimes is very, very fast. You know, you may have half a dozen actors, you may have 2 or 3 settings. We have, including our 2 musicians on stage, we have a cast of 31. It's not a musical, it's not a standard play. There's, you know, lots of automation happening, there's lots of different scenes building, the storytelling never stops. And so it's an interesting one because it wants to take the best of both worlds.
We had more than a Tech Week, we had a Tech 2 weeks, which is a bit unusual, but very necessary on big shows, especially like this one. Bart's
technique of doing techs is quite different to anyone else I've ever worked with. Most directors will do like a stop and start, you know, they're just trying to plot the lights. Bart purposely makes techs quite long so that he can rehearse scenes if they need rehearsing.
I actually think that's a really nice way about going about it, because then people just add more layers and add more layers, and you get to see it in its fluid motion.
It felt like we were in this theatre 24 hours a day.
I was tired, I was really tired. I was quite overwhelmed by tech. It was also quite a long tech, and there's a lot of, it's deceptive. There's a lot of, all of the furniture moving and getting the show to flow like it does. It requires a lot of work, and we did most of that in rehearsals, but actually things change once you get into the theatre.
You can sometimes do rehearsal processes and you get up onto the stage, you've got the costume on, it always feels a bit sort of uncomfortable. You're working out what the lights are and you say words and it can feel like it is hitting a brick wall. But here, I said some lines and I could feel them travel out and I knew we were going to be all right.
You know, when you're taking in the theatre, empty seats, the lights, and it suddenly starts to feel like you're galloping, you know? It's that first taste of, this is intense already.
It's really scary because you're going, am I going to remember my lines? How the hell am I going to remember my lines? Oh my God, there's that many people out there. Those seats are going to be filled with people and I've got to do a show to them every night.
I love that pressure. I love it. I'm addicted to it. I miss that pressure. I miss it.
10th of March 2022, walk into the Guildhall Theatre. David Morse feels very much like his dreams coming true.
I cried a little bit when I turned up at the theatre because I was just so proud of all of us.
I have to say, I took stock of the external theatre and the poster saying Rafe Spall, Atticus Finch, Harpaloo's To Kill a Mockingbird, all the lights, and I thought, yeah, man, this is what I wanted to do. I can't believe I'm here.
I wasn't nervous, I was excited, I was really excited because we've done the work. We've challenged ourselves in rehearsals, we've built that muscle.
We found out that obviously it had been sold out in the first preview, and I think there was an amazing kind of excitement in the cast, but I could tell that everyone was just like holding their breath a bit.
My name's Aaron Sorkin. I wrote the play that you're about to see. And it's my pleasure, on behalf of our producer, Sonia Friedman, our director, Bartlett Sher, the entire cast, crew, front of house staff, to welcome you to the very first preview performance of To Kill a Mockingbird in London.
I read this thing that the difference between excitement and nerves, biologically, there is zero difference. So all of your vitals that are read when you're very excited or you're very nervous is exactly the same. So you got to remember that nerves are there to help you. It's because you're just really excited.
To take your first bow in such a long time after everything that's been going on, not only with COVID, but post Black Lives Matter, and to have put on this play, and for it to go smoothly, and to hear that applause and that the receipt of all that information and the emotional information was, again, incredibly special, incredibly special.
Well, it was wonderful because they loved it. So we felt justified in all the work that we'd done. It was really beautiful to have the instantaneous standing ovation. Very grateful. Gratitude is the word I would describe.
You know, I think everybody in our industry has felt like there's been a point where the last thing they did before lockdown was going to be the last thing they ever did. Were theatres going to open? Were stories going to be told in this way? Was it all just going to end up on Netflix and recordings of theatre shows that had already been recorded and whatever? And sort of, I think everybody had that, whether you're an actor, director, writer, lighting designer, member of stage management. So to have got to the end of a show and to have told it in front of a live audience and to have been all the way through rehearsals and to have made it to that, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. Bartlett Sher reimagining this book on stage is going to be quite something to see.
I'm very happy and very exhilarated that we finally got this show open.
It's a brilliant play. It's a brilliant night at the theatre. But that doesn't mean it's got to be an easy night at the theatre.
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, that's such a good question.
To play this part is humbling.
So much of this play, for me, is about little acts of rebellion.
It's about seeing your friend and seeing their pain.